Hey everyone, Kat here. I've been playing PokeDoku for a while now. For those unfamiliar, it's a daily online game where you get a 3x3 grid with categories for each row and column, and your job is to fill in the squares with Pokemon that match those categories. No Pokemon can be used more than once. It's a fun idea, and I've been wanting to make some Pokemon-themed puzzles of my own for a while now. So hey, what better place to start? I signed up to create a fan PokeDoku, but not just to make my favorite mon, the PokeDoku star, for a day. No, I had other reasons. See, the dex that PokeDoku pulls from has different variations of certain Pokemon. There's all the different weather forms of Cast Form and the different kinds of Rotom. This changes their typing up and therefore where they fit in the puzzle, so of course it makes total sense. But there are some more unusual alt Pokemon in the dex, including all 7 colors of the core Minwar and its meteor form, Mimikyu and Aegislash's battle-only forms, the Own Tempo Rockruff, all the available sizes of Gourgeist and Pumpkaboo, and all the available colors of Squawkabilly. Plus, the dex contains a couple alts that aren't even playable Pokemon at all. Flotet Eternal from XY's memorable cutscene, and the fan-made Cowboy Hat Caterpie. But guess what we don't have alts for in the PokeDoku dex, despite it having an actual effect on the Pokemon's typing? Yes, of course, I'm talking about the 5 types of Starmobiles. It's like all 5 bosses were snubbed at the same time, with extra snubbing to the guy who designed and built the Starmobiles, which is not cool. I set out to create the perfect PokeDoku fan puzzle to right this wrong against my favorite Team Noun. Which, as it turns out, is way easier said than done. Possibly because I put too many restrictions on myself? I'll let you guys be the judges there. For this puzzle, Reverum will feature in the center, and I want the other spots to be filled by a Pokemon that is on one of the Team Star Boss's teams. Going from left to right and up to down, I'd like them to be as close as possible to the boss's ideal challenge order, which is Giacomo, Mela, Atticus, Ortega, Airy, and Penny. I'll be pulling from the teams they use at the end of the game, because this is hard enough, and if my only option for Giacomo is Pawniard, I'm kinda stuck. And finally, I really don't want to use any of PokeDoku's knows this move clues, because I never remember those and they drive me nuts. The final 2 slots will be taken up by Mousehold and Staryu for Team Star. Yes, I know Passimian is the teamwork Pokemon, but Airy actually has one on her team, and plus, Mousehold plays a special role in my Penny Saves Paldea fanfic. Specifically, it holds the Apocalypse Countdown timer. I'm playing favorites here. So, what have we got to work with? Well, if Reverum is in the center, it's a poison type from Paldea. Also a dual type. I assume Paldea has to be one of these categories, given that it's Team Star, but if you look at their teams, there's quite a bit of variety as far as regions go. In fact, only Giacomo has more than one Paldean Pokemon on his rematch team. We do already have Reverum and Mousehold established in the puzzle, though. So, yeah, Paldea should take the middle column. Let's fill those in. Now, if we're going in boss order, that would put Mela in the top square, whose only Paldean Pokemon is Armarouge. Let's work from there. Armarouge is a dual type and a final evolution. Both of those are pretty open categories. We should keep in mind, though, that if we use either of those on the top row here, we're cutting off either monotype or first evolution from the column possibilities. If we can find another link between the boss's other Pokemon, that's helpful info before we decide for sure. Looking over their teams, the other regions that show up the most are Sinnoh and Kanto. Actually, this is another spot where Giacomo is the oddball because he's the only one without someone from Kanto on his team. We really want him to go first, so if we're using Kanto at all, it has to be this third column. That would mean that ideally Airy goes here, but unfortunately her Kanto Pokemon is Primeape, which has absolutely nothing in common with Reverum. The most obvious choice here is Atticus's Muck for the full evolution or poison typing. But if we're promoting Atticus to Airy's spot, I still want her to be as close to the end as possible, which would be here. Now, she does have mostly fully evolved Pokemon, but among those is actually Toxicroak, a poison type, which I like better as the link between them. So now that's 2 columns and 1 row figured out. And before any PokeDoku regulars get mad at me, I created this puzzle months ago and had no way of knowing that I was going to be following a long line of puzzles with poison fighting as one of the options. I have made some surprisingly accurate Pokemon-themed predictions, but that wasn't one of them. Okay, back to showing Team Star some PokeDoku love. We know Staryu is going here, and I'm not demoting poor Ortega any more than I already have, so his only Kanto Pokemon Wigglytuff would go here. Okay, now we need a member of Giacomo's team to fit in the top left corner, and a member of Penny's to go in the lower left corner. So what do Armarouge and Wigglytuff have in common that one of Giacomo's Pokemon does as well? They're both final evolutions, sure, but specifically they also both use evolution stones to evolve. And hey, so does Giacomo's Honchkrow. Yes! That leaves Penny. Now, because her team is all evolutions, that means unlike everyone else on Team Star, she has no dual-type Pokemon. Which makes this final Rose category easy to figure out, but we need something else her Pokemon have in common with the two above. We could pull the final evolution category we've been saving, but Honchkrow and Toxicroak have something more specific in common. Yeah, I'm guessing you see it too. They're both from Sinnoh. As is Penny's Leafeon. She actually does not have a Glaceon on her team. So there you have it. One Team Star themed puzzle, all 5 bosses and the big boss accounted for, at least somewhat close to their ideal challenge order, with Reverum in the center and Team Star at the end. And now, PokeDoku, if I may borrow a tactic from a certain Caterpie-loving fan. Starmobile-type Reverums, please! Thank you. If I do any more puzzle videos, you'll see a link here. Until then, it'll link to a story about canon glitches and Apocalypse Mousehold. Happy reading, happy puzzling, and happy training!